welcome everyone. So just to do a quick test, I guess if you can hear me clap once, and if you can hear me clap twice, I didn't hear clapping either way, so I guess we are all set on the microphone. In the future, we might be able to answer questions with a microphone, but for the immediate second, welcome to Story Time with Jasper. I hope that you have made yourself comfortable, that you, I don't know, maybe you're sitting down in a nice spot like my fort here. Maybe you have your slippers on, you have yourself a nice drink to go with this story, or maybe you even have your favorite plushie with you. I got mine with me. This is Zilla. I found Zilla when I was on a treasure hunt looking for some very inexpensive items, and Zilla was buried underneath a mountain of plushies, and I saw Zilla's little tail sticking out of that pile and was all like, what is that? And I pulled him out, and I have loved having Zilla with me ever since. He is the softest and plushiest and has one of the coolest features I've ever seen on a plushie, and that is that he can light up. So Zilla is my favorite plushie, and for our story time together, I hope that you have made yourself comfortable and maybe even grabbed your own favorite plushie. If you want to do that for a quick second, you can go run off and do that. Otherwise, let me just get a quick sip of my drink here as we get started. All right. I hope I gave you enough time to go get your favorite plushie if you haven't already got him near you. Otherwise, we are going to start off with our story. Our story today, you probably know this character too. It's a character named Clifford. And the writer of Clifford is a fellow by the name of Norman Bridwell. So today, we are going to be taking a look at our story, Clifford, the Firehouse Dog. So maybe you've seen a fire truck before. You know, they have a nice loud siren. They have a ladder on top that people come out and they help put out fires in the immediate area and things like that. So today, Clifford is going to be visiting a firehouse station. We're going to see how that goes today, all right? So hope you got your little plushy fella next to you somewhere. Let's go ahead and start our story. All right, Clifford, the Firehouse Dog. And our story begins. My name is Emily Elizabeth, and this is my dog, Clifford. Clifford is not the oldest in his family, but he is the biggest. So take a look. Can you see where Emily Elizabeth is? See how small she is compared to Clifford? So Clifford is not the oldest in his family, but he is the biggest. Last week, Clifford and I went to the city to visit Clifford's brother, Nero. Clifford knew the way. So Clifford and Elizabeth made their way to the city, and that dog cannot fit inside of a car. Let's see what happens here. So Nero, remember Clifford's brother, Nero lives in a firehouse. He is a fire rescue dog. So is Nero as big as Clifford? Let's take a look. I don't think he's nearly as big as Clifford is. Oh my goodness, that's one big red dog. So I asked the firefighters if Clifford could help them. They thought he was the right color for the job, because firehouse stations usually have a lot of red, and Clifford he's red. That's right. So they thought he was the right color for the job. Just then, a group of school children came in for a fire safety class. So take a look here at our scene. Everybody's coming in to see this fire safety class. Let's take a look at how that goes. So Nero, Clifford's brother, showed them what to do if their clothing was on fire. To smother the flames, you stop, drop to the floor, and roll until the fire is out. Here's Nero showing them what to do. Maybe you've heard that before. To put out a fire if you are on fire, so you are supposed to stop, drop, and roll. If you have enough room in wherever space you're at, maybe your living room, maybe you can practice that real quick. Me, I got myself a nice fort that I don't want to stop, drop, and roll around in. Otherwise, I'll probably bring down my fort. Now, Clifford thought he could do that. He thought he could stop, drop, and roll. So he repeated the lesson for the entire safety class. He stopped. He dropped. He rolled, but what's happening in that picture? Can you see? Something is right in the path of where he's about to roll. Oh no. If we look closer, it's a fruit vendor. It's a guy that's selling fruit. Can you imagine what must be going through his mind right now? Oh no. Oh, that's a big dog. Oh no. Oh, where's he come? Oh! Ah! Clifford rolled a little too far. Oh man, take a look. Clifford rolled so far that he rolled right into the fruit. Can you imagine what that must have sounded like? The fruit vendor going, oh no, oh big dog, ah! And then crash and smash and squishy fruit sounds. All underneath Clifford's body. Oh no. Now Clifford probably smells like all of his fruit. So poor fruit vendor. But just then, Elizabeth and Clifford heard a siren. There was a fire. Ooh. So Nero stayed to guard the children, and Clifford and Elizabeth ran ahead. In fact, he cleared the street for the fire trucks. So there's Nero as he's holding down the fort, making sure everybody else is kept safe. And Elizabeth and Clifford ran off and even cleared the street for the fire trucks to be able to come on through. Now, when they got to the place, smoke was pouring from the top floor of a tall building. Clifford pushed the crowd back to a safe place. Zilla, if you were going to push somebody back to a safe place, how would you do it? No, we don't need to actually push on them. You just you hold up your hand in front. Can you do that? With your very teeny tiny hand. Good try, buddy. So for Clifford, smoke was pouring from the top floor of a tall building. So Clifford pushed the crowd back to a safe place. You can even see how Clifford was doing it. Right there. See? Not actually pushing, just making sure that everybody is safe distance. Now, Clifford, he saw some people in trouble. And he's a tall dog, so he can see at the very top of the building that some people were in trouble. So what do you think Clifford did? Clifford came to the rescue. Look at him. He's able to get those people off of the top floor even. Now, for the firemen, the heavy hose was hard to unreel. So Clifford gave the firefighters a hand. Or I guess if you look in the picture, he didn't use his hand, did he? He's using his teeth. So he gave them a hand. But then he saw that the fire hydrant was stuck shut. But thank goodness that Clifford was there to unstick it. Look at that. You know, it takes a lot of muscles to be able to pull open a fire hydrant like that. I don't think that's any problem for Clifford, this big red dog. Now, the firemen, they had to get the smoke out of the building. So Clifford made a hole in the roof. So that, I guess, only can do that if you're a giant dog, but that's one way to get the smoke out of the roof. Now the firefighters were calling for more water. So if they're calling for more water, why is Clifford grabbing that? Have you ever seen something like that before? Those are like little water towers that sit on top of buildings. Some buildings have them, but some buildings don't. So Clifford's reaching for this water tower. What's he gonna do with that? So, looks like Clifford found some water and he helped clear the smoke away. So he took that whole water tower and dumped it over the fire. He even blew out the rest of the smoke with his giant mouth. Can you imagine how big a breath that must have been? Just enough to blow all the smoke out of the entire room. Wow. So he helped clear the smoke away. When the fire was out, Clifford made sure that the firefighters got out of the building safely. So not only did he help get the people out of the building safely, he made sure that the firefighters got out safely too. And they were grateful for everything he had done to help. So there is Clifford and all the firefighters. And they just finished getting that fire put out. So Elizabeth and Clifford gave some firefighters a ride back to the firehouse. So there they are. Can you see Elizabeth, the tiny little girl on top of that giant dog's back? And they're giving all the firefighters a ride back. So Clifford was a hero. The fire chief made him an honorary fire rescue dog, just like his brother Nero. All right, look at that. What a great way to end the day. Starting off going to see your brother and then ending up being called a hero that saved the day. The end. Nice. Well, at the end of the book, it gives us some safety rules for if there is a fire. And we already got to hear one of them earlier today, didn't we? Zilla, do you remember how that one went? What were we supposed to do if our clothes catch on fire, Zilla? What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to stop, drop, and roll. Zilla! Ah! You went too far, buddy. You're okay. So, if you ever ended up finding yourself with your clothes on fire, you're supposed to stop, drop, and roll. And eventually, that would put out the fire on your clothes. And of course, you could also get some water to help with that. To help put out that fire. Now, I mentioned that in our story time, we would be looking at a bunch of different stories. But one of the biggest things that is important for everybody to know is that, did you know that you have your own story? Every single day, we have an opportunity to make our story so much better. So every day, I challenge you to find something to be thankful for. to find something to make your story a good story. Just like when I was telling you all the story of how I met Zilla and how Zilla became my favorite plushie. And there's a lot of things that we can tell stories about. It doesn't even have to be something super exciting. But the best thing about a story is what makes a story come to life, what makes a story fun and interesting is you. You make the story fun and interesting with your imagination, how you remember the story, how you tell the story, and everything has a story. I could tell you the story about how I got my favorite slippers that look like shoes. I could tell you the story about how this giant bear is hanging out with me in my giant fort. Everything has a story. And so whatever you can do to help make your story a good story, a fun story, that's all because of what you are able to do with it. You make the story special. So I hope to be able to see everybody for the next time that we have our story time with Jasper. Otherwise, I hope you find something today to make your story a good one. Thanks for hanging out with me today, everybody. I'll see you next time.